driving instructors across England are being offered up to £250 a month to sell their official test booking login details to touts and schemes which are adding to the already huge delays for test slots across Great Britain. A BBC News investigation has found how touts are using this access to bulk book tests, which they then sell on to learners for as much as £500. NJ Convery reports.
When I log on a Monday morning just before 6 a.m. to get in the queue to book a test, there are thousands of people in front of me, and by the time I get through, which could be after an hour or so, all of the tests have gone.
For the last 1 year I was trying, but now I have given up all the hopes and stopped even trying to book because I know I won't be able to book a driving test.
Right now, there are more than 500,000 learners across Great Britain waiting to take a driving test.
The only way you can book the test is through the website.
Mehedi's a student. He needs a driving licence for the jobs he's applying for.
I mean, there's no slots left on the website.
Okay, and then we're going to see the next right again.
21-week delays have led many to turn to third-party resellers, paying as much as £500 for a booking which should cost less than £75. The evidence we've gathered suggests hundreds of rogue driving instructors may be involved in these shady schemes. The system appears to work like this. Touts are paying driving instructors kickbacks of up to £250 a month in return for access to their instructor-only booking system known as OBS. Once they're in, they're using learners' provisional licenses to book tests which they then sell on.
I've had an approach from somebody who wants to put a bot on my OBS system, and I've obviously declined, but I can understand how it works now.
Tests have been bulk booked and resold for profit for years, but these instructors say it's got much worse. How many of your students are paying these price scalpers?
Everyone. Every single one of them.
Without that, they can't.
There's no other way to get the test.
There's a waiting list of 10,000. By the time they get to it, there's no test left.
It really makes my blood boil when we're out here trying to work 10, 12 hours a day, trying to cover the work, making ends meet living, and these guys are just all sitting down and selling tests.
We've identified test touts operating in Birmingham, London, Manchester and the home counties. We were tipped off via BBC Your Voice about a tout who uses the name Ahadine online. My students think used one of your services and similar ones. We saw him offering tests for sale across the country and so approached him posing as an instructor.
So I'm basically a reseller.
He offered £100 a month to buy our login details. He said he could sell our students tests for anywhere in Great Britain.
Paying them £100 a month.
Okay.
And we give them discount on test dates as well.
And he boasted about the number of driving instructors he was signing up.
Too many, bro. I get about 2 a week.
With BBC News, I'd like to speak to you about your driving test price scalping scheme. After tracing his identity, using payment details given to us by a member of the public, and matching that with other publicly available data, we figured out that Ahadine is Anil Ahmed, a 34-year-old who lives in Luton. You've been running a driving test price scalping scheme for the last couple of years. That you pay driving instructors across the country about £100 a month directly into their bank accounts in exchange for their login details, which you then use to hoover up loads of driving tests and charge people significant amounts of money for it. Is any of that untrue?
Everything you said is a complete fabrication.
The DVSA didn't directly answer any questions about whether they know that some instructors are involved in these schemes. They did say that any who are may be investigated and pointed to new rules expected next spring, allowing only learners to book tests. It's hoped those changes will stop people getting ripped off. Until then, many who are desperate for a test right now may feel their only option is to pay the touts. NJ Convery, BBC News.
And I'm pleased to say that NJ joins us now. So what else did you find out about the way that these touts are operating?
Yeah, good morning. Well, the guy we saw in the report there is not the only tout we approached. We spoke to others as well. You know, one of them offered us £250 a month, thinking we were a driving instructor who wanted to get in on his scheme. He told us that he worked with over 1,000 instructors and that he had a machine, a bot, if you will, that could pick tests faster than a human could book them. You know, we couldn't stand up all of the claims that these guys made, but it was clear that they're really well organised, and we've seen them operating all over the country offering tests. You know, I've had to join quite a lot of these WhatsApp groups as part of this investigation, and I just counted before I came on, and one of them just this morning has 46 tests available for sale. So this is having a big impact across the country. You know, we spoke to instructors who said that they've seen tests for sale in their areas and that they've also been approached. Some of them even said that they'd had a knock on the window outside a test centre from someone saying, you know, can I buy your login details? So this is a widespread problem that instructors are really annoyed about.
Yes, just tell us a bit more about the impact of all of this on learners and instructors, as you mentioned there.
Totally. Well, for learners, this is just adding to the already huge wait times that they face. The average is, 21 weeks, but some of them have told us that they're looking at 5 or 6 month waits for them to get their tests that they need. And, people think, oh, well, they just want to go out and see their mates in the car and do that kind of thing. But for a lot of these learners, it's about work, it's about study, it's about caring responsibilities they may have. And so they really need it. And then for the instructors, they're hugely frustrated as well. They want to see the rogue instructors being rooted out of the system. And, the guys we were speaking to in the park there, all those instructors, one of them told us, look, this system's broken. And he showed me his diary, and 6 months ago, he had every single hour of the day booked up with people looking to learn to drive. But as these delays get longer and longer, and for some people the system feels ever more strained and impossible to navigate, learners are turning around to him and saying, look, I don't want to book any lessons until I know I can actually get a test. And so he said to me, look, I'm thinking of leaving the profession entirely, which would be such a shame because they need more people offering learning instruction and more people doing the examining as well.
Well, as this goes on, what's the advice for learners?
Well, the advice for learners is twofold. On the one hand, the DVSA have said the rules are going to change in the spring, and that will mean that only learners will be able to book their own test, which should help smooth out some of these issues and hopefully stop the touts moving into the middle of it all. The advice is use the official system to book their tests, but again, with 21-week waits and all those reasons that we've discussed about why people need a test now, there's many who are going to feel they've no option but to pay and they can't wait for the changes. And some of the instructors I've spoken to as part of this investigation, well, they've said, I feel like you've just put all these touts on notice that the system's changing.
Thank you. That's NJ Comfrey joining us from our offices in Salford.